What if I told you that the most powerful fertilizer in the world is not sold in bags, not mixed in tanks, and not regulated by any company? What if I told you it's already here, surrounding us every second, invisible but constant, in the air above your garden? We all understand solar panels. We accept that sunlight can be captured, concentrated, and transformed into usable energy. But plants are already solar panels. They convert light, moisture, minerals, and subtle forces into growth, structure, and food. And about 100 years ago, some farmers believed they had discovered a way to amplify that natural process using nothing more than copper and wood. This forgotten practice is called electroculture. I'm not a physicist, I'm a gardener. I don't pretend to fully understand the equations behind magnetism, ions, or atmospheric charge. What I care about is simple. Does it work, and does it cost almost nothing? Today, we'll explore a story that sits right on the border between science, myth, and practical gardening, and you can decide for yourself where the truth lives.
To understand electroculture, we need to step back to France in the early 1920s, a time when electricity itself still felt mysterious, almost alive. Radios were new, power lines were spreading across the countryside. The air felt charged with possibility, both literally and culturally. In this moment appears a man named Justin Christofleau. Christofleau was not a university professor, not a corporate scientist, and not backed by any industrial power. He was an independent inventor, deeply curious about nature, and convinced that plants were influenced by forces most people ignored. Through years of observation and experimentation, he became convinced that atmospheric electricity, the natural electrical charge present in the air, could be collected and directed into the soil to stimulate plant growth. He designed simple devices, wooden stakes fitted with copper wire, spirals, and antenna-like structures. These devices were placed near crops, not connected to batteries, not plugged into any grid. According to Christofleau, they acted as collectors, drawing subtle electrical energy from the atmosphere and guiding it into the earth, where plant roots could benefit from it. The results, at least on paper, were extraordinary. Photographs from his books and pamphlets show cabbages so large they look unreal, towering over the people standing beside them. Peas with unusually thick stems, leafy vegetables with deep, dark coloration that suggested intense vitality. Christofleau claimed yield increases of 200 to 300%, faster maturation, and stronger resistance to disease. He didn't hide his work. He patented his devices, he published explanations, he demonstrated them publicly. For a brief period, electroculture was not fringe, it was debated seriously in agricultural circles. Then, quietly, it vanished. After World War II, agriculture changed direction completely. Synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, and industrial-scale farming promised predictability, profit, and control. These new methods were easy to package, sell, and standardize. A technology that relied on free atmospheric energy, copper wire, and farmer curiosity did not fit this new economic model. Electroculture was gradually labeled unscientific. Patents expired, research funding disappeared, Christofleau's name faded into obscurity. What remained were a few old photographs, scattered documents, and stories passed quietly between gardeners. Today, mainstream science often dismisses electroculture as pseudoscience, and to be fair, large-scale modern studies are limited. But here's the uncomfortable part. Thousands of gardeners across the world, independently, without coordination, continue to report similar results when they try it themselves. Darker leaves, faster growth, stronger plants. Is it atmospheric electricity?
Is it copper ions? Is it microbial balance? Is it simply pest deterrence? I don't claim to know, but history teaches us something important. Not everything that disappeared was disproven. Some things simply became inconvenient. And that's where this story stops being about the past and starts becoming about your garden.
Now let's move from history into practice. This is the moment where most people expect complexity, measurements, formulas, special tools. And this is where electroculture surprises you. The method is almost offensively simple. In the frame, you see only hands, a piece of wood, and copper wire. No electricity, no batteries, no plugs. If this feels too simple to be true, you're already thinking like a modern consumer, and that's exactly the mindset this technique challenges. First, the stick. Choose a wooden stick, natural wood, not painted, not treated, not plastic, not metal. About the thickness of a thumb or wrist is perfect, but don't obsess over it. In traditional electroculture, wood is used because it is electrically neutral and does not interfere with the flow of subtle charges. Think of it as a spine, the structure that holds everything in place, nothing more. Second, the wire. Use bare copper wire. Remove all insulation. Copper matters here, not steel, not aluminum. Copper has been associated with plant health for centuries, long before modern chemistry explained why. Again, don't chase perfection. Thicker wire is fine. Thinner wire is fine. This system forgives mistakes. Now comes the part that feels almost ritualistic, the spiral. Start at the bottom of the stick and wind the copper wire upward in a spiral, always clockwise. This detail appears again and again in historical electroculture texts, and it's not random. Clockwise spirals mirror patterns found everywhere in nature. DNA strands, snail shells, vines climbing toward light, even galaxies. Whether this has physical significance or symbolic alignment, nobody can say with certainty. But when nature repeats a pattern, experienced gardeners pay attention. As you wind upward, keep the spiral loose and even. You're not strangling the stick, you're dressing it. Let the wire breathe. Let small gaps exist. This is not engineering, it's imitation of natural form. When you reach the top, leave a small tail of wire pointing upward into the sky. This antenna tip is important in electroculture tradition. It symbolizes and possibly functions as the connection point between Earth and atmosphere. You're not forcing energy downward, you're inviting it. Now, installation. Take the finished antenna and push it gently into the soil near your plant. Not directly on the stem, give the roots space. Traditionally, antennas are placed on the south side of the plant in the northern hemisphere, simply to avoid casting shade. But don't let this stop you. If your garden layout doesn't allow perfection, choose practicality. One antenna per plant is ideal for testing. This is important. Electroculture is not about blind belief, it's about comparison. Place an antenna near one tomato plant. Leave the neighboring tomato untouched. Same soil, same water, same sun. Let them compete quietly while you observe. And that's it. No chanting, no power source, no daily adjustment. Just copper, wood, soil, and patience. This is where skeptics usually laugh, and I understand why. It looks too easy, too cheap, too harmless to matter. But gardening has always rewarded those willing to test instead of argue. You don't need faith here. You only need curiosity. Because the real question isn't how elegant this looks. The real question is what happens next.
This is the moment where the story splits in two directions. On one side, you have believers. On the other, scientists, skeptics, and people who immediately say, "This is nonsense." And instead of choosing a side, I want to stand right here in the middle, where a gardener belongs. Let's start with the version that sounds like magic. Supporters of electroculture say that the copper antenna collects atmospheric electricity, weak electrical charges naturally present in the air, especially during changes in weather, humidity, and magnetic conditions. According to this view, the spiral shape acts like a receiver. The antenna channels these subtle energies down into the soil, stimulating root activity, sap movement, and nutrient uptake. In older electroculture texts, this energy is sometimes called ether, sometimes telluric currents, sometimes simply life force. These terms make modern scientists uncomfortable, and understandably so. They belong to a time before we had precise instruments, when people described effects before they could explain them. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Plants do respond to electrical and magnetic fields. Roots grow differently when exposed to weak currents. Ion movement in soil affects nutrient availability. Atmospheric electricity is real. Lightning is just the dramatic version of something that is always present. So the idea itself is not completely insane. It's just poorly measured. Now let's switch lenses and look through the eyes of a skeptic. Modern science offers a much more grounded explanation. Copper is not just a metal, it's biologically active. Copper has been used for over 100 years as a fungicide in agriculture. Bordeaux mixture, one of the oldest plant treatments in history, is copper-based. So what if the antenna works not because it pulls energy from the sky, but because tiny amounts of copper ions slowly enter the soil? These ions can suppress harmful fungi and bacteria around the root zone. Less disease means stronger plants. Stronger plants grow faster, with darker leaves and thicker stems. No magic required. There's more. Slugs and snails absolutely hate copper. When they touch it, a small galvanic reaction occurs between their slime and the metal, creating a mild electrical shock. They retreat instantly. So a copper spiral near the base of a plant may act as a silent guard, reducing pest damage without poison. And then there's the placebo effect, not for plants, but for gardeners. When people experiment, they observe more closely, they water more thoughtfully, they compare, they care. Better care alone can improve results, and skeptics love to point this out. So which explanation is correct? Is electroculture atmospheric electricity? Is it ion exchange? Is it pest control? Is it coincidence? Here's my honest answer, and this is important. I don't know. I'm not a physicist. I'm not an agronomist in a white lab coat. I'm a gardener. And gardeners have always judged methods by one brutal standard. Does it work in soil, not on paper? If copper antennas consistently show darker leaves, faster growth, and earlier harvests, then the mechanism becomes a secondary question. Humanity used compost long before microbiology explained bacteria. Farmers rotated crops long before nitrogen cycles were understood. Understanding often comes after success. So instead of asking, is this magic or science, I prefer a simpler question. If this costs almost nothing, harms nothing, and might help something, why wouldn't we test it? In the end, plants don't care about our debates. They only respond to conditions. And the soil never lies.
So what actually happens when you put a copper antenna into the ground? Let's be very clear. Not promises, not legends, but what gardeners around the world consistently report. First, growth speed. Tomatoes tend to flower earlier and set fruit sooner. The plant doesn't necessarily become taller overnight, but it becomes busier, more side shoots, more leaf surface. The growing season feels slightly accelerated, especially in cooler or unstable weather. Second, leaf color and structure. One of the most repeated observations is darker, thicker foliage. Leaves look more charged, more alive. This usually indicates improved nutrient uptake, whether through healthier roots, reduced fungal pressure, or better ion movement in the soil. Third, resilience. Plants near copper antennas often appear less stressed during heat waves or short dry periods. This does not mean they no longer need water. It means they seem to cope better with fluctuations, bouncing back faster after stress. But now comes the part most viral videos never tell you. This is not a magic wand. If your soil is dead, compacted, and dry, the antenna will not resurrect it. If you forget to water, ignore pests, or plant at the wrong time, copper will not save you. Electroculture is not a replacement for gardening. It is a booster, not an engine. Think of it like this. If good soil, water, and sunlight are the foundation, the antenna is a small tailwind. You still have to pedal, but pedaling gets easier. And that's exactly why this experiment matters. Because unlike fertilizers, chemicals, or complicated systems, this costs almost nothing. No subscriptions, no refills, no dependency. Just copper, just curiosity.
You don't need to believe me. You don't need to argue in the comments. You don't need to choose a side. Copper wire costs pocket change. Make one antenna, place it next to one plant, leave another plant exactly as it is. Same soil, same water, same sun. Let the season decide. And when autumn comes, come back here and tell us which plant grew stronger. Because in the garden, truth doesn't come from opinions. It comes from results.